In the 1950s, India played a mediatory role between the two Koreas during the Korean War, and both North and South Korea accepted the India-sponsored resolution to end the war. As a result, a ceasefire was declared on July 27, 1953. India established balanced diplomatic relations with both North and South without taking sides. Subsequently, India became one of North Korea's top two or three trading partners. India stopped economic exchanges with North Korea following its 2017 UN sanctions, but continued diplomatic communication. India has also provided humanitarian aid to North Korea. Professors, some Indian commentators have observed Delhi's sympathy toward both Koreas. How close have North Korea ties been, and how do they differ to the ties with South Korea?
I think India tried to show that his non-alignment policy, foreign policy there. So they have to. It's kind of very okay that they have recognized both Koreas, right? And so, but the substantial ties are different. For North Korea, as you say, that they have trade relations. For North Korea, it's more important to have India than India has North Korea, in my opinions. And as you know, even India signed the UN sanction over North Korea's nuclear weapon program. But in 2018, the expert panel review actually accused India violated the sanction there because of the trade relations between North Korea and India. Some of the traders, they didn't realize that they have to stop trading. So it's something like that. So I think that I show an example that they really have a close tie. But for South Korea, of course, the relations is different, right? For South Korea, both are democracy. Of course, they are under certain kind of democratic coalition is there, especially in recent. They have G20, and they met in both leaders of South Korea and India.
And Rohit, I just want to pick up on something that Professor said, very interesting. North Korea needs India more than India needs North Korea. Would you agree?
Both sides, you need both. It's like a revolving door. You need to have a hand over the other side, as well as they need us too. One, to understand what's happening in DPRK's mind. Now what you find in DPRK, there is a sort of a finesse, a tact, a sophistication in what they do. Even it's their missiles or even their strategic thinking or even signaling, you find a finesse and a sophistication. So it's really important for India to understand what are they up to, what's the shift, one. And for North Korea, it's more like they need essential medicines. They have a huge problem with tuberculosis. Pediatric tuberculosis is a big problem. So India gives medicine, food aid. An opening is much important to understand. You can't completely shut the doors. You need to have a back door for that. And I think it's the right decision what New Delhi has done to opening up the embassy at a timely moment.
And in terms of this timely moment, how do you think Delhi will be kind of characterizing relations with each Korea right now, given that the North seems to have a rising sort of strategic profile in the region, and South Korea, on the other hand, is suffering current chaos? Well,
problem is like what India sees like ROK is more like an economic partner. At the same time, it's very important because ROK needs India's labor, at the same time, the market for it to grow. For DPRK, it's a different case. It's not just political, strategic. It's very important because if it becomes a challenge for Quad or a key member of the Northeast Asian politics, you really have to have an ear what they're going to do. And also, if they're going to initiate a near conflict in the Korean Peninsula, at least you will have somebody to say, okay, stop, let's talk, a mediator. So you will at least have somebody over there rather than have nobody, a shooting war.
Okay, so Rohit mentioned Quad. Let's go to that now. Indeed, India adopted a non-aligned policy, as Professor said, during the Cold War. However, in 2004, India founded the Quad, a security grouping together with the US, Japan and Australia in the aftermath of the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami. In 2021, Quad was elevated to the leader level by US President Joe Biden, which was seen as targeting countries like North Korea and China. In the last few years, North Korea has also deepened its ties with Russia, China and Iran, a so-called axis, which some see as a counter to the Quad. Professor, let me come to you. So do you see the opening of India's embassy in Pyongyang, does that change any of the dynamics around the groupings that we've laid out?
I don't think it will matter too much of the ongoing dynamics there, because I think this is what India has been doing all the time, that to increase their strategical influence. So India tried to make friends with both sides, right? So one is Quad, the other is Axis. India is in the middle, so India really has the strong strategic leverage over both sides. But in terms of Quad, then we have to read what the recent development of Quad. Although it's a US-led coalition, we understand that, right? But you know, the agenda, because of India has some reservations of put Quad into, change Quad or develop Quad into a military alliance, of course. Then the focus in Quad actually is more non-traditional security issues, climate change, cyber health security, infrastructure, and space issues. So we call this as a kind of India's role there. Make Quad in this way, okay? So I think, and another thing is for India, they try to make friends for both sides. But one of the very important goals for India is to be a leader in global South or even South Asia, right? So I think India will continue to do that. And we have to pay attention that in 2025, Quad summit, India is going. So we will see the development is more soft rather than just talking about all the military hard security issues there.
And Rohit, let's just touch on China. To what extent do you believe that India can form a kind of alternative or balancing to China's kind of overwhelming influence on North Korea?
Well, what India can do is like first step in, find out, at the same time go by step, because you can't really barge in. And what China is doing over there, China has a set of rules, a set of roles over there which is different. One, you should understand, North Korea is extremely guarded towards China. It sees China more like a threat.
So that's been a significant shift then?
There's been a significant shift because you have only one door. So when you have another door opening, you can have your options laid out. For North Korea, India is actually a safer bet. So for them, it's like, okay, you have India, I can literally speak, I can also talk what my problems are. With China, you're like, you have to be on guard. What's this thing? Like overbearing, a dominant. North Korea doesn't want it. And North Korea is not like a pushover state. It has its own set of thinking. So you have to really treat North Korea as an equal, not with kid gloves, as an equal.